Welcome to Unlocking Central Florida, from Orlando to Tampa and everywhere in between. Today I'm doing a video highlighting exactly why I decided to move to Central Florida, in particular Davenport, and even more in particular the Posner Park area where Highway 27 and I-4 intersect. And I'll also be giving some of my thoughts about how I feel about living in Davenport, being here for about 6 weeks now, not counting the time that I went back to Colorado. So I'm going to go over a couple pros and a couple of cons, highlighting some of the better parts of why I like living in Davenport and why I decided to move to Davenport, and then some of the drawbacks as well. The biggest upside to living in Davenport and the biggest pro as far as what I like about Davenport and why I decided to move to this area is that it's so centrally located. It's in the middle of the entire state and in the middle of the Central Florida region. It's right in between Tampa and Orlando, in between the beaches and the theme parks. It's really close to I-4, so it's really convenient to hop on and off of I-4, and also to hop on Highway 27, go up to Claremont, go down to Lake Wales. You have really easy access to those highways to go anywhere you really want to go within the state, and you can do a day trip to almost any part of the state. So in the past 6 weeks, that's been really nice. I've been able to go to Disney and the theme parks, but I've also been able to go up on small trips, to go up to Claremont, which is a really nice area. It's hilly and has a really nice local vibe. And then I've also been able to go out to the beach on both sides of the state, and I've been able to go all the way down to Naples as a day trip, and I've been able to go all the way up to St. Augustine as a day trip. And really, I could go anywhere in the state within 3 to 5 hours, within just a couple of hours. Really, I could go anywhere in the state within a reasonable amount of time, which is what's really nice about living in Davenport, and it allows me to take advantage of everything that Florida has to offer. It's not, which, however, on the flip side, the traffic is the biggest downside for living in Davenport. There is a lot of traffic. I will say that now the biggest downside to living in Davenport is the traffic. There is a lot of traffic, and almost 24/7, Highway 27 and I-4, especially in the area where they intersect, it's almost 24/7 traffic, at least right now. And I've heard that it's going to get a lot better as we get into the spring and summer months, but right now in January and back in December, there is a lot of consistent traffic, which makes it a little bit more difficult to navigate and can make it more stressful living in this area, because there's almost always a lot of traffic, and it's about 3 minutes a mile. A lot of the time it takes 3 minutes just to drive each mile that you have to go. And even if it's a long ways, going on those major highways, it can take about 3 minutes a mile just from all of the volume, which is about 3 times more than it generally was in Colorado. However, there's just so much that the state has to offer as far as theme parks and all the tourists that come down, especially right now. That's what leads to that volume. So that's just something to keep in mind, especially in Davenport. Now, another downside to Davenport is that it doesn't quite have that local vibe. In Davenport, there's not like a really nice community area as far as like a really nice lake or area to go to. I mean, I do like being right local to Posner Park, which is a plus. Being able to have all the amenities and be able to walk to all the amenities of Posner Park, but I can't walk to a really nice local area, at least where I'm at in Posner Park. There are parts of Davenport that are a little nicer to have just a nice calm vibe and being able to walk around and be able to see the community and just have a nice calm vibe and see the trees and the birds and whatnot. And I love all the sandhill cranes in the area, but there's not like a really nice lake to walk around unless you go down to Haines City or Claremont, which are both within 30-minute drive from here. And I've loved going to both. And every single Sunday there's a farmer's market, so I got to go up to the farmer's market in Claremont. One of the biggest pros to living in Davenport is that it's so centrally located within the state of Florida. You can travel to almost anywhere within the state, and I've been able to take advantage of that in the last 6 weeks of living in Davenport. I've been able to go all the way up to St. Augustine, all the way down to Naples. Everything is like a day trip away. Nothing is like super outlandishly far to where you have to do like an overnight stay or anything like that. You can go almost anywhere in the state, and that's really nice to be able to do. Almost everything is about 2 to 4 hours away in the state of Florida from Davenport. So I've really liked being able to take advantage of that, and I've really liked being able to go to both sides of the state, go to the beach on the east side and the west side, and being able to take advantage of everything that Florida has to offer without having to go on a 6 or 7 hour drive just to get to the other side of the state or to the other end of the state. And it's really nice being centrally located as well regionally, because I'm right in the middle of Tampa and Orlando. I've already been able to go to both Tampa and Orlando. I've already been able to fly in and out of both Tampa and Orlando, which is really great for travel. It's really nice to be able to have two options as far as airports to fly in and out of. If I want to have more options, I can go to Orlando, and if I want to be able to get in and out of the airport a little bit faster, I can go to Tampa if there's options, in which Tampa's a little bit more of a smaller city airport and Orlando's a much bigger airport, but both are really great airports that offer a lot of options to be able to fly all around the country and all around the world, which is one of the biggest reasons I decided to move to Central Florida. Is I wanted to be able to do more travel through Central America into Europe, and it's nice to have that access right out of Central Florida and to have options to travel, to be able to fly out of two airports and to be able to go to either side coast and to be able to cruise out from all of the ports all around the state and to have pretty good access. There's the train, and there's a lot of different forms of transit to get around the state and to be able to travel. And being in the middle of it all, it offers just a lot of options. It's not all right there, but everything is accessible from the middle of the state just as long as you have a car. And that leads to the biggest con, which is the traffic. Davenport in particular has a lot of traffic. And I know a lot of people out there will say that, and it's only getting worse as time goes on. There are a lot of developments coming to this area in Davenport. They're building a lot of new condo complexes, and they're building them very quickly, which is adding in a lot of people to this area in particular, adding in a lot of volume to this area in particular. And Highway 27 and I-4 are both very busy highways. This area in particular has pretty much non-stop traffic. Even at midnight or 4 a.m., there's still quite a bit of traffic coming through. It's not anywhere near as bad. There's still bigger gaps where you can get in and out, but there's still quite a bit of volume of traffic in Davenport in particular. And it's something that you just have to consider. And now it's definitely worse than it'll be in a few months when the snowbirds start to leave as it gets to the end of spring. And it's just something to consider, that there is a lot of volume of traffic, and you have to be more patient. It takes about 3 times longer to get places than living somewhere like northern Colorado up near Fort Collins or Longmont. You know, it's not going to be much worse than a big city like Denver, but it's definitely worse. And you're just going to have to factor that in. Yes, there are places that are worse as far as traffic, but right here in particular in Davenport, there is a lot of traffic. It is nice to be able to hop straight onto the highways, but there is a little bit of, getting around as far as having to do U-turns and a little bit more difficult things that you have to do. And with all the volume and traffic, it's just a little bit more stressful being here, and just there's a little bit more to it as far as traffic than living in many other places. So it's just something to consider. Yes, there's a lot to offer in the area, and with it being so centrally located, there's so many different things you can go out to do, but you just have to factor in that extra time to get there than it would be as far as the distance compared to other places. But at least you are so centrally located to where you're not super far from everything, but you just have that little bit of extra travel time unless you really plan it out and try to go really early in the morning or really late at night to be able to get there and then spend a night, or figuring out exactly what you want to do. But traffic's definitely something to consider. It's manageable, but it's definitely the downside of living in Davenport. Besides that, there's a lot of amenities. But besides the traffic, it's pretty nice. There's a lot of amenities. There's really nice palm trees all around. It's getting really well developed. I wish there were more sidewalks as another con. I wish there were more connected sidewalks, because sometimes they'll build a sidewalk and then it'll end, and then they build a sidewalk and then it'll end. So it's not the greatest if you're in especially the Posner Park area as far as walkability. It's nice to be able to go to stores and stuff, so I really liked being able to literally walk to urgent care. I had to do that once because I had an incident, and you can walk almost anywhere that you have to go, get fast food or get groceries. It's nice to be able to walk and do all those different things, but at the same time, there's not that nice community vibe in being able to walk around a lake or something like that, at least right here in Davenport and even in Posner Park area. So that's one thing that I don't love quite as much as far as living in the Davenport area. But I do like all of the amenities that are right here in Posner Park that are super easy to access. And I do think that if you're in another part of Davenport, the traffic is a little bit better and there is a little bit more walkability as far as being able to walk around, be away from traffic, have sidewalks, get around. But as far as having amenities right there, as far as having a lot of food and grocery and options, it's really nice being around Posner Park where you can access all of that right here locally and being able to hop on and off of I-4. And in general, Davenport, you can just hop in and off of I-4 relatively easily with not too much distance. So that's nice as well, not being super far from I-4, no matter where you're in. If you move to Davenport, all the areas of Davenport are relatively close to I-4, so that's nice as well. So you can get all around the state. But overall, those are the biggest pros and cons. You're super centrally located. You have a lot that you can do all around the state. You're in the middle of Disney, Tampa, the beaches, Orlando. You can travel in and out of Orlando and Tampa. You can go all around the state. There's the transit options. There's transit options to go down and take the Bright Line down to Miami. So there's just a lot to offer in the middle of the state and being in Davenport, but at the same time, you kind of have to travel to get anywhere where you really want to be. And I do wish there were a little bit more community amenities like Claremont has, where you can go to a farmer's market every single Sunday. Yeah, it's really great that I can just drive 30 minutes, go up to Claremont, see a farmer's market, and walk their farmer's market. And there's a lot of really great things to do up in Claremont, and I like the hills and stuff. So as far as vibes and stuff, I do like Claremont a lot, and I do like that I'm in a cheaper area, and then I can go up and visit Claremont if I'm wanting to do something a little bit more chill than the theme parks. But overall, I do like Davenport. It's a nice area, especially if you like Disney and overall the amenities that Florida has. And if you really want to be in the middle of it all, and if you really want to be in between Tampa and Orlando, if you want to be right off of I-4 to be able to get on and off, to be able to get wherever you need to go, that's kind of nice, because if you're too far from I-4, it could take a long time just to get up to I-4. So overall, those are my thoughts on living in Davenport. I do like the area, and it is a nice part of Central Florida, and especially if you're wanting to live a little bit more out towards the country and are wanting to be a little bit further out from the city, but also be in the center of everything that's going on in Florida and being able to drive and access all of the different amenities that Florida has to offer. That's all for this video. This channel is going to be featuring a lot of content that highlights different specific communities all around Davenport and all around Central Florida, giving current market reports as well as tours. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.